Learning any language is enhanced by some knowledge of the cultural customs and beliefs of its native speakers. Developing an awareness of and a sensitivity to a language's subtleties are inherent to acquiring true fluency. The following notes for Pimsleur's Mandarin 1 are meant to provide you with an introduction as to how the language and the culture are intertwined. Mandarin. Mandarin Chinese is the state language of China, used by the government and in the schools. Although there are 8 major Chinese dialects, Mandarin is native to approximately 70% of the population and is the only dialect that has a corresponding written form of the language. Chinese who are educated through at least the primary grades speak Mandarin as well as local dialects. However, due to the size of China and the ethnic diversity of its inhabitants, hundreds of other dialects are spoken in different areas. The dialects spoken today are based more on geography than on ethnicity. For instance, residents of Shanghai will speak Wu. In some parts of China, particularly the central and southern areas, education and official business are transacted in the locally dominant language. Although people from different parts of China generally do not understand one another's spoken language, they use the same basic set of characters for writing. Today's Mandarin is closely based on Northern speech, which was the lingua franca of the ruling class spoken in Beijing, the capital during the Ming and Qing dynasties. After the nationalists overthrew the Qing dynasty in 1912, government officials at first considered creating a new national language by adopting a mixture of dialects, but in the end it was decided to retain Mandarin as the national language. The Communists, who defeated the Nationalists in 1949, continued this policy, but they changed the name and coined the term
普通话
or common speech for Mandarin. This is the word for Mandarin used throughout mainland China. In Hong Kong, however, as in Taiwan and most overseas communities,
国语
the older term continues to be used. Pronunciation of the national language differs slightly geographically. The nationalists, whose capital was the southern city of Nanjing, were influenced by southern dialects, primarily Cantonese. The communists, whose capital is Beijing, were influenced by northern speech. Pictographs. It is commonly thought that every Chinese character is a picture or pictograph, but only a few hundred of the several thousand characters are true pictographs. However, most of these are now written in such a way that it is difficult to immediately guess their meaning. There is also a very small group of characters called ideographs or ideograms, which represent ideas or objects directly. All other Chinese characters are combinations of these pictographs and basic ideographs. Traditional and simplified script. In 1949, China's new government considered instituting an alphabet in place of the traditional characters as a refutation of traditional or feudal culture. Instead, they decided to simplify the existing characters by reducing the number of strokes necessary to create them. By 1964, a list of 2,200 simplified characters was created for use as a modified script. Further simplification was briefly adopted, then abandoned at the end of the Cultural Revolution in 1977. Presently, simplified characters are used in mainland China and Singapore, although there is a movement for the restoration of traditional characters, especially in southern China. Hong Kong, Taiwan, and most overseas Chinese communities continue to use the traditional characters. Tonality. Chinese is a tonal language. This means that in addition to the sounds of the consonants and vowels, the tone with which a syllable is pronounced helps to determine its meaning. The Chinese languages are almost exclusively made up of one-syllable words, composed of an initial consonant sound followed by the syllable's main vowel, sometimes in combination with another consonant or vowel. Longer words do exist, but almost all are compound words, formed by combining one-syllable words. In order to convey meaning, Mandarin also takes into account the tone with which a syllable is pronounced. The tone is determined by the pronunciation of the syllable's main vowel. Each tone has a name which describes the falling or rising motion. In this way, several meanings can be assigned to any one syllable, depending on the tone with which it is pronounced. For example, when pronounced using a falling, rising tone, the word
哪儿
means where. However, when this word is pronounced with just a falling tone,
那儿
it means there. There are 4 basic tones used in speaking Mandarin: high, mid-rising, falling rising, and falling. In addition, there is a soft sound which is used for the second syllable in a set of doubled characters, as well as for the final syllable, or question word, at the end of a query. For example, in the questions,
你呢
how about you? And
好吗
okay, the syllables
呢
and
吗
are pronounced using this soft falling sound, as if the sound is fading away. Here is an example of one sound with several different meanings, depending on the tone with which it is pronounced. First tone, high,
诗
poem. Second tone, mid-rising,
时
10 or time. Third tone, falling, rising,
使
history. Fourth tone, falling.
是
All of the forms of to be. First tone,
诗
second tone,
时
third tone,
使
fourth tone.
是
Traditional language beliefs. Just as the number 13 is traditionally regarded as unlucky in the West, the Chinese number 4
4
is seen as ominous because it is very similar to the pronunciation of the word for death. The only difference in this case is that 4
4
is pronounced with a falling tone, while the word for death
死
is pronounced with a tone that falls and rises again. Conversely, the number 8
8
is regarded as lucky, since it shares the same ending sound with the character meaning to prosper.
发
In Cantonese, the mathematical form of the number 2
1
is considered lucky because it is pronounced the same as the word for easy.
1
Although the Mandarin word for 2
2
does not share the same pronunciation as the Mandarin word for easy,
1
speakers of Mandarin still believe the number 2 to be good luck. The number 9
9
carries a positive meaning, as this word sounds exactly like the Chinese word meaning long-lasting.
9
These 2 words are represented in writing by 2 different characters, but when spoken, the distinction is made only through context. The number 9 is used in the city name Kowloon,
九龙
or literally 9 dragons. In China, the dragon is a symbol of royalty and good fortune. This number is also traditionally used when setting a woman's dowry. In contemporary China, this price is largely symbolic, and therefore the amount chosen is significant not for its size, but for the numbers used to describe it. For that reason, the price will be set, for example, at $99 rather than $100, as the repetition of this number is thought to ensure longevity in the marriage.